Welcome back to the Sheffield United save here on FIFA 23. We're into Season 2, Episode 2 of Season 2, and we'll be rounding out the transfer window in today's episode. With still a couple of weeks to go, there's absolutely the chance of some outgoings if bids come in, and perhaps we can make another couple of loanee signings just to flesh out the squad a little bit before we push into the rest of the season towards January, because certainly we're running low on numbers. If we get any injuries, we might be a little bit not screwed, but certainly would hinder us. We do have some players out on loan, obviously, that I could recall: Koulibaly, Myers, Traore, Adams, Holden, etc. But maybe we loan some in to still guarantee that these youth players get as much first team football as they can. Myers is up 1, Koulibaly's up 2 already, which is fantastic. That's the sort of growth we wanted to see from him this year. So maybe we loan in a couple of other players at the end of the window. Maybe another centre mid. I tell you what I could do. What I could do is sign... Please tell me he's not signed for anyone. Please tell me he's not signed for anyone. Vega's gone to Osasuna. Well, we're not going to get Vega in on a free then. There's that idea done and dusted. We've got on our shortlist a couple of players that are linked with the club in real life. Cameron Archer has now been linked with Sheffield United IRL. Jebo's up to 72, so you get more growth from him. Messi's still not signed for anyone. I don't want to buy Vlasic. I could maybe look to loan Malik Tillman. I can't loan Malik Tillman, but Gustavo Harmo's still on the list, of course. Danny Ceballos is now signed for Lazio, so that's him done and dusted. David Brooks is now signed for FC Köln as well, so that's him out of the window now as well. Varela's certainly a player we could consider still. So maybe we look for a loan. I'll have a think about what I want to do and where we might loan for the short term. Just have a look at the loan list, really, and see who's there. If there's anyone of any real note, we might be able to snap them up. But first, we will get Sutton done and dusted, and then we can think about the transfer window solely outside of the game against Manchester City for the next 10 days or so. So through to the next round of the Carabao Cup, please, gents, and then we'll take it from there. Drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll hopefully get us through to the Cup. Sutton, Jack Rose, Joe Kizzy, Lewis John, Ben Goodliff and Sam Hart, the defensive unit. Enzo Boldavane on the right-hand side, Will Randall on the left, Scott Kashka and Lee Angol up top for them with Smith and Eastman in the middle. We've rotated, as you might imagine that we would do for this sort of fixture. Fleck, Norwood, Larousse, Tanganga, Baldock, Fotheringham and Brewster in. But it should be a win. Larousse, Fleck, turns well. Brewster. Larousse getting forward. Chuba Akpom in the middle there. We'll tuck this back to Fleck though. He'll find Ryan Brewster hopefully. Or Chuba Akpom. Oh, I think the keeper might have jumped out of the way of that. Chuba Akpom will go and celebrate in front of those travelling fans down in London from the south of Yorkshire. Make the journey well worthwhile if we can score a handful of goals here, won't it? Let's see a replay of that. This ball was meant for Ryan Brewster, but it found Chuba. And yeah, I don't know what... It's like he made the decision to go with his hands and then moved his left leg out of the way of it. That's a weird one. Scott Kashka couldn't quite get there. It's a lovely through ball advantage played. Lee Angol from the edge of the box will regret shooting quite so poorly. Sutton with a good chance there to get themselves an equaliser on his own on the edge of the box, and he's let himself down. Forward to Ryan Brewster. Out wide then to Baldock. Baldock with the whip. It's not a great whip, but it's fallen to Ryan Brewster. And Rose is not covering himself in glory today, is he, in goal for Sutton United. He is their highest rated keeper at 61. But unfortunately, he's just not that good. Chuba Akpom makes it 2-0 with a header from the corner. Oh, I thought we'd intercepted that. Oh, Wes! Wow! What a save from Wes. That was a fantastic stop. It's the sort of thing that we saw him do multiple times last season. He's doing it multiple times here. Almost looks like he's wearing a Sutton kit, doesn't it, in goal? But wow. Clearly, Wes is still going to be able to do a job for us, even though we've brought in Dean Henderson. Hopefully, Wes will be great as a backup keeper for the rest of the entire save. I'd love to see Wes play in Europe for us in group stage competition. On what grounds, Hyper? Oh. fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're having a laugh. Sutton 1, Sheffield United 2, and let's just ignore the fact that that ever happened. So Moretti, both off the bench here to try and just make sure. Brewster to Chuba. Chuba this time, surely, for the hat-trick. Chuba Akpom has somehow not got a hat-trick despite 2 fantastic one-on-ones. Come on, pal. Need you to prove that you can be good in all competitions, please. If you can do it in the Premier League, but you can't do it against Sutton United, then what's the point in having you? There we go. There's his hat-trick. 3-1, game over. Moretti with room to get into. Chuba is there in the middle on his own. Then we'll look to Rian and Brewster for 4. How hard is it for strikers to hit the target? I mean, come on. There's so much time and space there. Efforts like that just have to go in. That's what makes me apprehensive in some situations in bigger games, to just take first-time shots or shots when they're under pressure and not look for the extra pass. Because even if they... clumsy. Even if they have the time and space, they still miss the target. That's why it's so hard to find a striker you have such unwavering faith and trust in to hit the target and bury the ball into the back of the net absolutely every single time they have the ball at their feet. Players like that are super rare. It's clearly, it's not as easy to hit the target every time as you imagine that it would be. Is that a foul? No, Chuba's just fallen over. Well, it'll be 3-1 then here away from home against Sutton United. They knocked Cambridge United out of the Carabao Cup in real life, Sutton, but they will not do the same to me here. We're through to the next round. Now we'll see if we can get ourselves a loanee or 2 before the end of this window. So we made a decision. There is no one really available on loan and no one available on the transfer market cheap enough to warrant bringing in as squad players. So we look through the free agents. Ainsley Maitland-Niles in real life has agreed a deal with Lyon, but he's just not signing for anyone in this save. So I'm going to take the opportunity to give Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he wants an important role. Well, he's just going to have to be unhappy, I'm afraid. He's just going to have to be unhappy. I'll try and get him on a 1 year, 2 year at most. You want 4? Oh, this was supposed to be a short-term thing. All right, well, sign 3. We'll get Ainsley Maitland, release scores of 9.3. That suits me down to the ground. I'm not wanting to keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles in the squad for long. It's just a opportunity to pick up someone that could do a job for us in the short term for a little while. I've no idea whether £35,000 a week is enough. It certainly is, and he will join us. Ainsley Maitland-Niles comes in on a free. So 1 free agent signing in, and we are going to do another slightly unexpected, or very unexpected, but coming in on a free will be a 36-year-old, aging and only from here declining, Dries Mertens. Released by Galatasaray. We are going to bring Dries to the club, again in the short term. He wants crucial. Of course he does. Oh, I wish you could factor in the fact that he's going to agree a 1 year deal. That's perfect. This is effectively then a loan for Dries Mertens, which suits me down to the ground. That's what we wanted to do, basically. Maitland-Niles is a bit here or there, but Dries Mertens for 1 year and 1 year only. Perfect. Because the loan system doesn't work properly. So if I can get effectively a loan Dries Mertens from the free agents for a year and then send him back to the free agents after that year, then I'm happy enough. Ainsley Maitland-Niles will come into the squad, and like I said, they're just there to be backup. I'm not really wanting to throw them into the starting lineup or even onto the bench. It's just to ensure that I've got the depth. I would have loaned more, but loanees, just the loan system doesn't work, as you well know. So 2 free agent signings into the club. Dries Mertens will leave us after a year, which is absolute perfection. And, okay, we're now going to see him join, weirdly, but it's actually because Harry Boyes is going to Al Fateh. So I've actually got another about £1 million added to my transfer budget for your guys' suggestions for a new centre-back and centre-mid in January. No unexpected outgoings as of yet, but there is still time for bids to come in. We've got second place Manchester City next, but so far we're third placed, so we'll give it our best shot. Manchester City are as strong as ever. Ederson in goal. New signing Davide Calabria at right back. Laporte, Diaz, Cancelo. Silva, Rodri, De Bruyne. Alvarez, Haaland, Foden. Fully expecting to lose again to Manchester City, but we managed to draw with Man United. So, maybe. Just want to keep up the goal scoring at the very least for the board. A streak of 15 games scored in is quite an ask, actually, especially for a side like ourselves, but we'll try. We'll try. We've scored in 3 so far. Send him. Yellow for Julian Alvarez early doors. And we've worked that away nicely. I'll tell you what, if I can get to a good position here, I don't know where their man's going. That's not gone very well for them, has it? McBurney. Chuba. Chuba! Tipped over by Ederson. Worth a go. Keeper makes the stop, and he's very pleased with himself for doing so. Oxlade-Chamberlain with the delivery. Ollie McBurney! Can't beat Ederson again. I was just trying to block the pass, and I reacted late. Don't send him. I'll be so annoyed. Just a yellow, I think. No, it was a red for Moretti. Oh, come on. I was just trying to... The ball was there, so I thought I'd press slide to try and get in the way of that pass, but it actually initiated the slide too late, by which point Haaland had passed it. Now I'm down to 10 men. Oh, F. Julian Alvarez. Nice block by Johnny Egan. Out of his feet. Chamberlain to McBurney. It's really bad from McBurney, though. Rodri to Erling. Erling into the middle. And Austin Trusty in the way at the right time. Lovely take by the Ox. If anything, that should really be a foul for knocking him off his stride and obstruction. Alvarez, Foden, straight at the keeper. This is going to be one-way action for now, isn't it? Really lovely interception. I mean, Akpom's away here. And he's got the legs, just. Chuba has been the goal scorer. Sensational talent that he's now proving itself in the Premier League. Chuba Akpom scores again. Sheffield United score again. And the 10 men of Sheffield United are 1-0 up. Chamberlain, lovely switch out to low. It is a trademark pattern of our play, isn't it? These big switches. It's handball, I think, in there somewhere. Oh, it must have been from us, because play continues. And it just said Ene Militao has joined Liverpool, which is a hell of a signing for them, and will make them significantly better this year in the Premier League. McBurney. Oxlade-Chamberlain just time it right, and Chuba could be in again. Chuba is in again. Akpom over the keeper, into the back of the net. 10 men Sheffield United lead by 2 against Manchester City. The champions are behind by a margin. Lovely lofted finish as the keeper rushed him. I was just a last minute call. My brain went, press LB. I'm glad I did. Because over the keeper goes the ball. Just as Ederson probably would have smothered it if it had been shot on the floor. Chuba Akpom goes flying over as the ball goes into the net. Wow. And Alvarez, Foden, intercepted well. City pressing, but you know what happens when City press. This is why we simulate the games in the first season against the big sides, because you can't tell whether you're going to get a realistic game or just a FIFA-esque game where you rip them apart. And we're ripping them apart with 10 men. McBurney could have sealed it with a third. Oxlade-Chamberlain will deliver the corner. Chuba could get another, but Ederson's done well to come and get to that. I'm sprinting after this as fast as I can with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. In the middle here is John Egan. No. And then Ahmed Hozic. Also no. Akpom, though. Apparently also no. Sheffield United are going to go at least second in the Premier League, above Manchester City. And it was only Leeds United that were higher in the table. They were 2 wins from 2. We're 2 wins from 3. And that's a beautiful finish from Chuba Akpom to give us a third. And City are, well, they were crumbling. They have completely fallen into a pile of dust now. 5 goals in 3 Premier League games for Chuba Akpom. It's remarkable, really. A hat-trick for him for the second time today. Second time this season, Chuba Akpom has picked up a match ball. 3 against Sutton, 3 against Manchester City. Long may that continue. I don't think the Chuba Akpom hat-trick run will continue more than today, but the longest we've gone with a run of hat-tricks is 3, of course, with Salihovic in the last career mode we did with the Youth Academy RTG. Let's see what happens in the run-up to and including on deadline day then. I don't want that. Just no player swap, please, and AJ can go to Toronto. We'll, of course, give you a roundup of all of the... just a loan, please. Give you a roundup of all of the Patreon players as well at the end of the episode, as well as obviously the transfer window at large. Monthly scouting reports. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Monthly scouting reports are back. Amissa loan agreement. Good. Accept. Millie. Good. Accept. AJ. Good. Accept. And what about those scout reports? Are we going to have our first player brought up that's genuinely impressive? No is the answer, unfortunately. So on deadline day, Joško Fardiol, the new Manchester City centre-back in real life, might be on his way to Crystal Palace in this save. Patreon player Daniel, who moved to PSG at the beginning of the season, is now going out on loan to Eibar. And we'll see what else happens in the remainder of the day. Nicolo Ravella from Juventus to Lazio is a big one. Obviously, Toon Cape Miners. Toon to the Toon. From Atalanta to Newcastle. And Disarcy, who is a new Chelsea player, or did that fall through? I can't remember. I think Disarcy is a new Chelsea player. Moved from Monaco to Leverkusen in this save. Now, let's see if anything else happens on deadline day. We're not planning on signing anyone. We're not planning on selling anyone. But if bids come in, we will consider them. Obviously, we got the Daniel Jebison deal come in late in January last season. That's AJ going. And presumably also the other one too. There we go. Millie's on his way to Utrecht. We'll update the spreadsheet before the end of the episode. You guys can see where all of the Patreon players are going. Riddler Baku's gone to Liverpool. So they do now have a right back. Was it Liverpool that didn't have a right back? No, it was Manchester United that didn't have a right back. Mohamed Simakan has gone to Chelsea. Looks like Daniel Jebison's in-game character. It's Jordan Amissa going to Warburg's Bois. A club I've genuinely never heard of, unfortunately. 4 emails. Amissa out. Interesting Cameron Archer from Darmstadt. He's a player that is linked in real life, but at present we're not making any moves for. Tuta to Bilbao. Stack to Fiorentina. Still Fardiol to Palace is a rumour. Partey to Napoli. Joško to Palace is no longer a rumour. It's done. £61.4 million. Joško Fardiol finds his way to the Premier League once more, but not where you'd expect him to end up. David Alaba, Real Madrid to AC Milan is a big one that goes through now with time to go. Sure, you can have him. That's not a problem at all. Harrison Neal will go out to Watford. With 4 hours to go, Thomas Partey has now gone to Napoli for £39 million. 3 hours to go. No more massive deals. Leon Goretzka rumoured to be coming to Liverpool. Interest in Curtis Jones, but we're not bothered about that at the moment. That we will accept. Wes Foderingham we will reject. Thank you very much. Wes stays. Wes will probably stay for the rest of the whole save, and I believe that's going to be business done. Transfer deadline day is over. So let's have a look at the biggest deals that went through then in the window. As we leave the standings second in the Premier League, Leeds have won all 3 of their opening games of the season so far this year. And the biggest deals in this transfer window, Eder Militao to Liverpool for 105.2. Florian Wirtz to Spurs for 97.4. And Fikayo Tomori to Bayern Munich for 92.4. Upamecano to Newcastle as well, so they've really splashed the cash with Upamecano and Toon Koopmaners too. Andy Robertson to Barcelona is an intriguing one for £68 million. Nuno Mendes to Barcelona for £60 million as well. They just spent £128 million on 2 left backs. FIFA! That is supposedly adjusted for next season, hopefully. Mikel Merino to Chelsea. Tony Kroos to Juventus. Andre Silva to Manchester United, we were aware about yesterday. Inacio to Osasuna. Patrick Schick to Bayern. Rodrigo de Paul to Juve. Alaba we saw. Jeremy Pino to Monaco. Konate to Brighton we saw. Moreno to Milan. Gnabry to Roma. Smith Rowe to Aston Villa. Nabil Fekir to Real Madrid. Romelu Normand to Napoli. Toon we saw. Simakan En-Nesyri to Marseille. Rafael Varane to Juventus. Mohamed Kudus to Chelsea is a good one. Zubamendi to Getafe. Roger Ibanez gone to Saudi Arabia, I believe, in real life. Was linked with Bournemouth. I think it was Bournemouth. Real Sociedad, in the end, is destination in this save. Gonzalo Ramos to Juventus. We saw Partey to Napoli. Sergi Darda's gone to Roma. Fofana to Liverpool. Guehi to Lille. Foyt to Lazio. Gomez to Tottenham did go through on deadline day. Yannick Ferrer Carrasco to Bayern Munich. Baku we saw. Diogo Dalot even to Real Sociedad. That's why Manchester United don't have a right back. Acuna to Liverpool. So that presumably is their Andy Robertson replacement. Maybe. Coney went to Napoli. Malero to Brighton. Harvey Elliott sold to Sassuolo. Calabria we were aware of. Todibo to Betis. Moncayola and Capier is a good signing. Kefren Turam's a great signing for West Ham. Zielinski might be on his way to Saudi, I believe, in real life. He's gone to Atleti here. Shutalo has gone from Dinamo Zagreb to Valencia, Josip Shutalo. So some impressive players moving in directions you wouldn't necessarily expect them to. We have Nottingham Forest tomorrow, as well as now Wolves in the Cup, and Norwich and Newcastle. Be Norwich at home then we sim, and we'll play Forest and Wolves and Newcastle. But that is all for your transfer deadline day. I will go and now update the Patreon spreadsheet, so there'll be a little bit more of the video, but those of you that aren't asked will probably leave me now. So thank you very much for doing so. Drop the video a like on your way out, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll go and update the Patreon spreadsheet, and then we can show you exactly who's gone where. So, Patreon players, you are as follows. I shall show you your ratings, then I'll show you the updated transfers. So, Callum, Emmett, I'll just scroll through it. There's no point in me actually just reading them out one by one. You have eyes, you can do it yourselves. So, intriguingly, some of the players that we put at a club have actually been signed by Paris Saint-Germain, which is odd, because in both of the previous saves, as per the testing that we did before we started doing the Patreon player thing, when you put someone at a club at the beginning, when you create them, or you leave them in the free agents, they don't change clubs, ever. So if you put them in the free agents, they will be in the free agents forever. If you put them at Reading, they'll be at Reading forever. That's how it was when we tested it. It's how it was in the RTG save. It's how it was in the Southampton save. Weirdly, in this one, about 4 people have ended up being bought by PSG from the club that they were put at. And then, one of the players that was a free agent that I signed and then tried to loan out has ended up just being bought by PSG as well. So PSG are going from Paris Saint-Germain to Patreon Saint-Germain. They're going to Patreon SG. Patreon Saint-Germain at the minute. There are your ratings. So this is the nature of the Patreon list thus far then. So Aiden is still at Frankfurt. Ads started at Arsenal, but PSG bought him. Shouldn't have been able to do so as per my testing, and the other 2 saves we've done, but that's happened. AJ came back from his loan and Toronto brought him. Alex went to Fenerbahce after his loan to buy. Barnes still at Real Madrid. Billy went on loan to Valencia. They elected not to do his loan to buy, so he's been bought by Braga. Brandon's still at Wolves. Brandon has gone to Valencia as per the loan to buy. Similarly, Callum has gone to Lyon as per the loan to buy. Chris was at Reading. He stayed at Reading, but I just got an email in game to say that Barcelona have bid for him. So I am intrigued as to potentially whether the devs have patched something that I'm as of yet unaware of. Because it now seems that some, potentially, players that are given a club with their... In fact, I tell you what, it's all the new ones. The old guys that I created in January haven't moved, apart from Daniel. But Daniel was just bought, not bought from a club that I put him at, so... Okay, hold fire on that one. All of the new guys I created that joined the Patreon in between saves... Adam, Zach, Jamie, all of the guys that have been bought by Paris Saint-Germain, and now Chris Taylor of Reading, now soon to be Barcelona, that is potentially something new now for created players, where if you put them at a club, they may get a move rather than just being set where they were. We will do more testing at the beginning of FC24 then to figure out what the shit is actually the situation. But that's intriguing to me, very intriguing indeed. It would actually open up the opportunity to put you guys all in the free agents and then see where you went, rather than start you at a club and see where you went. Although, I guess if you wanted to start a club and see where you went, you could do. So, Chris at Reading, but seemingly on his way to Barcelona. Colin was a 2-year loan at Cadiz. Connor was a 2-year loan at Wolfsburg. Daniel was a free agent that I signed, sent out on loan. But then PSG bought... No, I didn't send him out on loan. I signed, added to the loan list. PSG bid to buy him. PSG did buy him in January. And he has subsequently this season, from Paris Saint-Germain, been loaned to Eibar. Danny and Dara are still at Crawley and Chelsea, respectively. Dawson's loan to Sporting was just a loan, actually, for 2 years. Actually, that might have been a loan to buy for 2 years. Daz and Emmett are still at Dortmund and Barcelona, respectively. Marcus's player, Ferenc Puskas, went on loan to Valladolid, is now at FC Köln. They bought him for me this summer. Jack is at Portsmouth still. Jamie was at Celtic. PSG bought him from Celtic. Jordan, loan to buy to Burnley. Millie went on loan to Bruges and then FC Utrecht, bought him this window. Justin is still at Liverpool. Lewis, loan to buy to Saints. Liam went on loan to Bruges last year and has now gone to St Etienne, so he and Jordan were at the same club. Matthew was just a loan, evidently not a loan to buy, to Espanyol and has now been bought by Freiburg. Nick is still at Tottenham. Other Nick, Nicholas Pavic, has gone to Leicester. We actually played against Nick in yesterday's episode. Rob went on loan to Vallecano last year and is now permanently at Celta Vigo. Scott, 2-year loan deal to Sporting. The other two Toms are both at the club that they started at, NEC Nijmegen and Crystal Palace. Will went on loan to Girona, has now signed for PSV. And Zach started at Manchester United, but PSG signed him, and you can see all of your ratings there. So it's a really intriguing one to see that players may well actually not now be forced to stay at the club that you put them at. But it is intriguing that it's only the new guys that I created that are having that sort of career path actually become a thing. And I can show you here. Oh, Barcelona bid for... That might, to be fair, might have come in on deadline day, which is why it's shown up as rejected. But Barcelona bid, and it was rejected. But I think it must just be because they came in for him on deadline day and time ran out. It's a weird one. It's a really, really weird one that we're not familiar with, but we will adjust to. So that brings to a close fully this second episode of the second season. And you guys will have the opportunity, of course, to, those of you on YouTube, will decide what centre-back we sign permanently, what central midfielder we sign permanently, and any other dealings from then on out will be decided by you guys in the YouTube comment section, purely because of my going away for 5 days, which is the reason why the goalkeeper and the lone centre mid have, and the subsequent other free agents have been decided by live chat. Ordinarily, the majority of the time, the YouTube comment section gets the say, and you will do for the new centre back and new centre mid. So that's all from now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. There will be an episode tomorrow. There should be an episode the day after that, and then I think I'll run out of time. But I'll try and get as many recorded as I can, and then we'll take it from there. But for now, that's all from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.